Well, here's where we're at, guys. We're gonna try to get shocks knocked out. Also, when this thing's all the way down on the ground, there's only like 3 fingers between this bump stop and this. So these springs are pretty well clapped out. We're gonna do ball joints on it, shocks today, but also the pile just keeps growing, right? Gonna need some outer tie rod ends. I'm gonna have to get into this rack, see if we got maybe some play on this half in here. So apparently this isn't gonna cure my death wobble until I get outer tie rod ends, but I may just look into, maybe there's a whole rack upgrade for these big trucks. I know these front end problems, I mean these trucks just eat front ends and give you the old death wobble. And you know, I'm not trying to run a minivan full of babies off the road if I can help it. So well, just my luck, guys. They broke a shock bolt and they welded it. So now I'm not going to be able to just do shocks on this right away. That actually sucks a lot. I guess we'll switch gears then and focus on ball joints only on this side. The other side we do still have both bolts. So on that side we could probably do the shock and the ball joints on it. But I guess that's just how it goes. Second thoughts, guys, we're not going to do shocks at all on it. I don't want to have one good one over there and then one over here all clapped out. The springs are already clapped out all the way around in the front end, so I guess I'll start looking for some A-arms. Maybe there's some sort of an A-arm upgrade with some poly bushings or something, and that should give me my new shock mount bolts. Got that upper ball joint popped. It was quite effortless with this little air hammer pickle fork kit that I have. Bought that whole kit off Amazon for, I don't even know, it wasn't that expensive, but definitely makes doing ball joints super easy. Got other jacks in here just to hold the hub. I didn't bother taking the rotor, none of that off. Press this one out, put the new one in, and then we're gonna start it back on here. That'll help to support it, and then we'll do the same on the bottom. Pop that one out, lower it down, put it on it. Quick shot of this pickle fork kit. Like I said, makes it so easy. It's a whole set, all your various sizes, and it also comes with the other one if you wanted to just beat on it with a hammer, but the air hammer one makes it effortless. Well, we kind of played hell getting this one back in, but end up pulling that whole A-arm so we get the impact on it. I can get on it nice and straight. That made it real smooth. So we'll just continue on. We'll move on to the bottom one. We're going to reinstall this. It'll support the knuckle, and then we'll move on to the bottom one. Well, guys, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. This was the ball joint in the box that Napa gave me. It had the same part number as the other upper. I installed this one, too big, blew out my A-arm. Now I can't even reinstall the correct size in there because this one was too big. So now I'm getting upper control arms. Look what I found here, guys. That's my tie rod. It's for the rack, for the steering. The nut's tight. That might be why my steering was all over the place. Quick update, guys. We're still working on it. Ball joint from hell. This one, I don't know what happened. Last couple threads were jacked up on this one. We ended up having to cut it because my socket wouldn't stay on that little bitty nub any longer. Also, here's an update. Break the camera right quick, bud. Update on my steering. That's probably, you know, that could have killed somebody. When it pops out like this, the only thing holding it is literally the rubber boot. So, good thing we're addressing all this now. Another update. We're installing a new one right now. It's real slow going. My air hose is too small. My gun was set up for the bigger hose on my service truck. So now I got this little tiny air hose. A little compressor right there. Can't hardly keep up. All that stuff is just making the project kind of drag on. And when the air is full at 150 psi, I hit it with the gun and I can only get maybe one flat, and then I'm out of air. I have to let it build up again, I mean. So it's just making it painfully slow.
Another day, guys, on the ball joints from hell. We should get her buttoned up today, though. You guys can see there, we just have just that little bit left to go. So we'll continue getting this pressed on here. It's actually helping to heat this part kind of lightly. I don't want the heat to soak into the ball joint, but just heating this part to kind of expand it. And then I'll use my impact, get some tension on this, and kind of beat on this lightly with a hammer just to try to get them vibrations moving through it to help it. It seems to be working all right, but it's just slow going. There it is, seated. We're all the way flush here on the bottom. Got it sticking up right here. Don't forget your C-clip to hold it. Naturally though, with the weight of the vehicle on it, the weight of everything, it wants to push that ball joint deeper into the seat. But this is just, if something were to happen and somehow this bore got clapped out, this is just going to make sure you don't hit a bump and your whole ball joint comes out, and then your tire just drives off and then you crash in some big fiery death. So don't forget that. We're going to put the grease fitting on it, and then we'll wait to grease everything until it's all loosely reassembled. I definitely recommend one of these if you don't have one for these grease fittings. It's got your socket size for the straights. You have this one with the slot in it for your 90s. It also has your extractor and your tap all in one handy little tool. This one I'm trying to start it by hand. I can't get more than 1/8 of a turn. But with this, we'll just run this tap down there. Just kind of chase those threads a little bit. Might have a small little burr or something like that. But definitely recommend these. They're cheap. Just leave them laying around, and they're priceless when you need them. You don't need them often, but when you do, there's no replacement for these. Got everything loosely mounted here. Got our nut started there. Tie rod started. Upper ball joint started. Jack's kind of supporting the weight right now. This thing's a real bear. This part wants to spin freely. It's weighted all offset, so all the weight's on this side. The hub wants to turn. I had this screwdriver just kind of wedged in here in these cooling fins just to help hold it still, but of course it fell out right as I got the freaking last bolt started. Anyway, here's where we are. We'll get it all buttoned up right now. Also, don't forget to tighten up your sway bar link if you've loosened that, which I recommend just because it lets the A-arm drop down another inch or so lower when you have it all the way down. Another interesting note, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. That ball joint, lower ball joint nut, 1 3/16. I think it's a metric actually, maybe a 32 millimeter, something like that. This ball joint, same box, same part number, everything. This nut, 1 1/16. So weird. It fits though. It's the right threads and everything, the right diameter. Just the nut itself is smaller. Just thought that'd be something of note. You guys may experience this same thing depending where you get your parts or whatever. Well, there it is, all greased, guys. You'll feel it. You know, you just want the boot. You'll feel the grease in there. A little springy there. Same with the lower. This upper, check this out. Almost like it has a little relief right there. That little molded square spot on the boot. When I squeeze it, see that? That's kind of cool. Maybe they did that so you don't blow this one out. It looks all kittywampus though right now. The suspension's fully relaxed. Once you get the tire on it though, this is all going to straighten up. It'll be at a much better angle. But that's it. We'll put the tire on, torque everything down, the wheel lugs I mean, and take her off the jack. This is the final thing for my end of the deal. Just a quick note about torque wrenches, guys. The more smooth and more slowly you can apply the torque to it, the more accurate your reading's going to be. So you don't want to be bouncing on it and doing things like that. Just nice and smooth. And that's 140 foot-pounds right there. Yeah, we're done now. We're going to clean up, and then I need to take it and go get a front end alignment on it.